Hello, this is Jawad Ali, and I'm here with another video. In this video, I will be talking about risk quantification by FAIR. So, FAIR is an international body, and they have created a method to help risk professionals quantify risk. There was no method to quantify risk, or it was not useful. So, they have created this standard to help them do so. So, let's dive in right away. This is so you have to understand the scope. The scope here is risk analysis. This standard that I will be talking about is applicable for risk analysis, and specifically when you are trying to quantify, and quantification means representing a risk in numbers. So representing numbers like money, the frequency, the number of times, 1 to 3 times, 4 to 5 times, $100,000, something like that. This is risk quantification. So let's start with the definition. First of all, FAIR, which is, like I said, international body, defines risk as the probable frequency and the probable magnitude of future loss. This is how their definition works. This is different from ISO, but you don't have to keep that in mind. I'm just trying to do this. All right. So, according to the definition, as you can see, the probable frequency and probable magnitude. Keep these two things in mind. This is FAIR standard. And as you can see, loss event frequency, this is probable frequency. Loss magnitude, this is probable magnitude. So loss event frequency, this is probable frequency. Loss magnitude, probable magnitude. Keep these two mappings in mind because if you are confused with it, you will not understand it. Okay. So loss event frequency, loss event, how many events that happen where you lose something. So you have, for example, a ransomware encryption. How many times does a ransomware encryption event happen? This is the frequency of those events. Ransomware events, state sponsored, stealing of data, business email compromise, everything. What is the frequency of of an event happening, and in that event something bad happens? What is the frequency of bad events happening? This is loss event frequency. It could be one, it could be less, just like that. um there's also the loss magnitude. Loss magnitude is, let's say, if what is the frequency of ransomware events? This is loss frequency and loss magnitude. What if the event happens? What if we have a ransomware on our systems? What is the magnitude? So you say, let's say we have $1 million, we have $2 million in losses. This is loss magnitude. It is about answering how much damage we will be facing if the event we're talking about happens. This is loss magnitude. Now I will start with loss event frequency. So every loss event frequency can be broken into threat event frequency and vulnerability. Threat event frequency is the frequency of threat events happening. It's not, remember, one is loss event, an event where you loses something, okay? Something catastrophic happens like a ransomware. Threat event frequency is whether the attacker tries to, do some damage, but he's not able to do that. For example, there are, attacks on your websites. The threat actor is not able to, damage your website, but he's at least trying. So threat event frequency is the frequency of the threat events that are happening on your systems, on your endpoints, etc. So threat event frequency, just keep that in mind, is the frequency of the threat actor, of a hacker trying to do something bad. He's at least trying. This is the trying thing. And last event, it is when something bad happens. So here in threat event, bad is not happening. It's just an attempt by threat actors to do some damage. Vulnerability. Vulnerability is how vulnerable are you, how susceptible you are. If, for example, a threat actor is trying to do something bad to your website, he's trying to, let's say, hijack your website or perform a DDoS attack. Vulnerability is how susceptible are you to that attack. So if you have a DDoS attack, will you be able to face that attack? Or, for example, will you be able to mitigate the attack, or will the website go down? So it is about vulnerability, how vulnerable you are to the threat event that is happening. So this is vulnerability. We can also dive deeper into threat event as well. So threat event consists of contact frequency. It is the frequency of how often the contact happens between the hacker, between the threat actor, and your asset. Okay. So this is the contact frequency. It's pretty much simple from the wording itself. The frequency of the contact between the threat actor and the asset that is of importance. Probability of action. So let's say that the threat actor is able to, contact frequency is like, let's say, how often a threat actor comes to our website. This is contact frequency. And then there is the probability of action. What happens when the threat actor comes to our website? Does he initiate an attack? This is a probability of action. So you have to understand that not all threat actors will start attacking your website. Some will say that it's not worth my time and effort. I'm not getting anything in return. So many people, many threat actors will not attack your website. Why? Because they just don't see anything. So probability of action is what is the probability that the threat actor will do something, at least starts an attack against your asset. So this is the probability of action. Now let's move on to vulnerability. You have threat capability and you have resistance threat. Threat capability is how capable the attacker is. What kind of tools, what kind of skills, what kind of experience he has. So this is threat capability. Resistance strength. This is about how much can you resist the threat actor. This is your strength. Like if you have EDRs, if you have more controls, if you have good processes, then you have high resistance. So it is about your resistance to the threat actor attacks. This is resistance strength. If a threat actor start attacking your website, how resistance, how strong you are to those attacks. This is about that resistance strength. All right, let's discuss the loss magnitude side. So loss magnitude consists of two types of losses, primary loss and secondary loss. So the thing that happens in most companies is that, let's say something bad happens, or ransomware attack is underway on your, let's say happened on your company, and so you negotiated with the threat actors, you gave them $1 million, you also paid for the incident response and digital forensics. So this is primary losses. It is the losses associated directly with the incident, with the event that happened. Okay, direct losses, you could say that. Secondary losses. So let's say some people have their data stolen, and what would they do is that they sue you in court. When they sue you in court, you're going to need to hire a lawyer to to represent you. And a judge could say that, well, something bad happened on your end, you have to face the consequences, so you're going to pay for that. This is secondary loss. It's not directly associated with the incident. It's just that when the incident happened, these are secondary losses that came into view, so you have secondary loss. So secondary losses are indirect losses, you could say. And the same goes for reputations. Some customer might be saying, you are not good at security, you are not protecting our data, we're not going to choose you right now. So this is reputation loss. You might also lose some important systems and data to your competitors. So this is also secondary loss. So secondary loss are indirect losses that happens after the event is already occurred. And for secondary loss, you also have secondary loss event frequency and secondary loss magnitude. So, not, there is not 100% chance that everybody is going to sue you, or that you have to face, charges or compliance problems. So you have a event frequency. It's not 100%. You may have some, exposure. You may have some chance of damage. You may have low chance. So these events are not guaranteed to occur. So you are just talking about how often do we, based on the data, we think it can occur. So this is, event frequency. And of course, there's loss magnitude is that of when it does occur, what we believe or what we forecast will happen, in the secondary loss. So this was just a brief overview of the FAIR risk analysis taxonomy. So you can read more about risk. Risk is an exam is a very useful a standard, and that's very consistent. It's very logical. Many people use it. They have also Fair is a great area for resources as well. They have created these nice tools so you can use that as well. And it makes risk quantification extremely easy. So that's it. I mean, if you like it, please like and subscribe. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. So make sure you comment. Thank you very much. That's it for today.